Hi, I'm Laura Freeman, and I illustrated Slow Burn. I chose that poem because as soon as I read it, I was struck by how powerful and visual it was. I love the idea of golden shovel poetry, where Nikki takes a line from one poem and creates something totally different with it. She based Slow Burn on Lucy Ariel Williams' poem Prelude, and it feels just like what I do with illustration. Often I'll take one idea or a line from a manuscript and I'll create an image from that. Just like golden shovel poetry, illustrations borrow from one piece of art to create something totally new.
A child looks out the window at night. What does she see? A window is a liminal space that allows us to experience being both inside and outside at the same time. And Nikki's poem captures this beautifully. The child, the girl, describes herself as having a blue-black body, skin purpling towards midnight. It's almost as if she herself embodies the night. These were wonderful images and great challenges for me to work with as an illustrator. How much would we see the girl? How much would I show of the city? And I love the colors, the blue, black, the purple. In my image, there's a little triangle of yellow behind her. That's the kitchen. Dinner's being made. For the girl, as she contemplates the great unknown, the world, the night sublime, she's also anchored, safe and secure, in her home.
Hello, I'm Pat Cummings, illustrator of What Girls Can Do. Nikki Grimes' poetry is so visual that this image leapt out at me immediately. I wanted to show a young girl with a strong sense of self, not angry, certainly not oppressed, a girl determined to treat the negative attitudes of others as the nuisances they are. I felt it was important to capture the message of the poem. Girls have the strength to step over barriers that seek to define them, or, when necessary, just kick them down. Legacy is a timely and moving volume of poetry, and I'm honored to have been included with such a wonderful collection of artists. I hope you'll enjoy it.
The inspiration for having my say came directly from the poem. Everything that you see in the artwork is a reflection of what was, or a response to what was said in the poem. And so some of my favorite lines are, my mother named me Harmony. First of all, like that already invoked music, and just saying, who decided silence was a tax I must pay for my color or gender? Love it. I just thought it was so fantastic. And then ending, so girls speak up, so there were so many things about this poem that said to me, okay, what's going to be loud? What is something that will be a projection of voice? And it wasn't just about a portrait in this case. And the idea of the gramophone just popped up, like they're beautiful objects, number one, and they are made to project sound, and so I thought, wow, it'd be really cool and magical to see this girl in the middle of the city, projecting her voice outward in this huge gramophone, this pink, bright, vivid, playful, wonderful, magical gramophone, and then extending that idea to her rallying cry of telling people to speak up. And so we see the other gramophones coming from the windows. So, I was a quiet child, but my mother was very bold and my grandmother, they both encouraged me. And so I totally felt that idea of like the grandmother also kind of hanging out in the window, watching this young woman be bold. So that's where the inspiration came from. I'm so honored to be a part of this book. It's wonderful. Nikki's poems are fantastic. And I can't wait for young people to be touched, moved, and inspired by what they see. So thank you.
I never really know what to say when people ask me what inspired me to create my work, because a lot of it is my intuition and a lot of it is my gut. And it was the same for this poem written by Georgia Douglas Johnson and Nikki Grimes. But one of the things that I will say that really did inspire me was one of the songs by the Beatles, which is Blackbird. It's one of my favorite songs. And as I was creating this piece and reading their work, that song kept popping in my head. And of course, I wanted to create an image that feels like it came from the Renaissance. It feels like it came from the Black artists, the folk artists of the South. And it feels something that you can resonate and understand with now.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth ZUNON. I'm the illustrator of the poem Kneel by Nikki Grimes. I was really inspired by this poem in particular because of the imagery that it brought about of the garden, of the unseen forces of the worm, the bee, and all the other insects and creepy crawly things that put in the work so that a garden can have soil that is fertile and able to sustain life. And also the feeling of the position of kneeling, whether in prayer, in respect, in thanks, in pain, is really giving your body over to the moment, giving your whole self, your whole being over to a particular moment and a particular feeling. And that really spoke to me as an artist.
In Tara Takes on Montclair, the children are allowed to be subversive. It represents a moment in childhood where we find innocent ways to challenge authority. And I love this so much that I wanted the countryside to conspire on behalf of Tara and against the adults as well. So Tara arrives from the city to the countryside in her Sunday best, a white linen dress and white pearl earrings, and she is engulfed by Aunt Vi's violets that distract her from home and thoughts of friends and entice her with new freedoms that she never found in the city. This piece captures the moment right before Tara says yes and abides in the countryside.